that someone's just trying, or would
Well,
you say
how would
like
you
stop?
expect anything to change? You can't tell someone to stop it and then everyone's going to stop. This, I'm
What-
telling you, I'm doing something, and you're saying it's not good enough. But if it's not good enough, then let me go back and eat 10 burgers then.
The reality is that vegetarianism is not good enough for the victim.
Well, that's for you to say. That
Well,
it's
no,
not good
if it's
enough.
from the victim's perspective, right?
I'm done with this now.
For
Thank
example,
you.
it's because you're in a corner of being triggered. So you just watched 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your emotions off the back of that?
I don't really have any emotions.
No emotions?
No.
No,
No.
didn't see
Like
anything wrong with
it's
it?
sad.
It's sad, so it's sad emotions.
Yeah, but it's normalised.
It's
Like,
normalised.
You see that everywhere now.
You see it everywhere, or you see
Yeah.
animals being slaughtered everywhere.
Yeah, it's all on social media.
Okay, like social media posts,
Yeah.
and none of it affects you?
Like, it's sad.
It's sad.
I think it's sad, obviously.
How do you think
Animal
you would feel if
abuse.
you were the victim?
What do you mean? Like, if that was me?
Yeah, if you put yourself in a position, let's say for like the pig's going into the gas chamber,
Yeah.
if you were in that position of that animal, like how would you view it from the animal's perspective?
Like, I don't know. I wouldn't like it. I'd prefer it to be over quicker rather than later.
Or would you prefer it not to be happening at all?
Yeah, obviously, but let's be realistic. It's happening.
Well, do you know why it's happening?
Yes,
Why do you think it's happening?
because we consume it.
So supply and demand industries, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that you can affect it?
What do you mean?
Do you
Like,
think you can
stop
affect?
it?
Yeah, do you think you can stop a supply and demand industry?
If the mass was, yeah, but I don't think one person can.
What about if everyone took that approach to any injustice?
Well, that's the thing. If the mass was doing it, then it could be stopped.
So-
But, like, if one person
So
just did it without like spreading the word or anything.
So
then
before
it
women had
wouldn't.
rights,
Yeah.
yeah, and a small group of women stood up,
Yeah.
what if they'd have said, "Do you know what, like our voice isn't
That's a
good
group
enough."
though. I'm saying if one person did
Yeah,
it
well, it
without.
started with one person, right?
I'm saying if one person did it without like making any noise, then it won't make any difference.
That's right,
Like
so
if I just went vegan without making noise or anything, then I'm not going to impact anyone. But like
Exactly.
if I made noise, then that's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, I'm with you. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. So that's why, right? When you go vegan, that's like the baseline where you start.
Yeah.
And then being an animal rights activist and speaking up for animals is really important.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll never get systemic change, right? Because you've got to be a voice for these animals. They can't just like scream
can't
and
speak,
get themselves
yeah,
out of there, yeah?
yeah.
So when it comes to supply and demand, do you think that it's more ethical to not pay into that industry, or do you think that it's morally and ethically okay to pay for animals to be abused for your taste pleasure?
See, this is like, that's one of those questions where it's like tricky because it's so normalised, it's made ethical, but it shouldn't be.
So just because it's normalised, does that mean that it's moral and ethical?
That's what I just said.
So,
It
okay,
shouldn't
so-
be, but it's made ethical because of the mass do it. So then obviously if you're not open or clued up about those things, you just think, oh yeah. let
Okay,
me
so
do it
just
as
because the
well.
majority does something, do you think that makes it moral?
I just said it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
So you've
I think
debunked your own.
you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. in
Yeah,
this
sorry, it's a bit
interview.
I'm not following because you're answering your own question. So, what's stopping you from taking personal accountability and stop paying for animals to be abused for your taste pleasure?
Who said I eat animals?
Okay, so are you vegetarian?
Yeah.
You're vegetarian?
Recently, yeah.
Okay, so you're still paying for animals to be abused for your diet because you're paying for like dairy, like
No,
from
I'm
cows?
lactose.
So who do you eat?
I eat cheese on occasion, like if it's in a burger.
Okay, so it's the same industry, right? So the dairy industry is still the cheese industry. Like they
Yeah.
make cheese from dairy.
Yeah.
So you are still paying for animals to be abused for your taste pleasure.
Occasionally, yeah.
Occasionally. Does it matter if it's occasionally or every day, like to the individual?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Like I'm trying, obviously I've gone and I'm trying to decrease
If
it.
you were the
so
victim,
I'm trying.
would you accept that as a justification that someone's just trying? Or would
Well,
you say
how would
like
you
stop?
expect anything to change? You can't tell someone to stop it and then everyone's going to stop.
I'm
That's
not,
really
I'm not telling you to stop. But what
No,
I'm
but the way
saying
you're
is,
coming at it in this, I'm
What
telling
I'm-
you, I'm doing something, and you're saying it's not good enough. But if it's not good enough, then let me go back and eat 10 burgers then.
the reality is that vegetarianism is not good enough for the victim.
Well, that's for you to say. That
Well,
it's not
no,
good
if it's
enough.
from the victim's perspective, right?
Okay,
For an
I'm
example,
done with this now.
For an
Thank you.
example, it's because you're in a corner of being triggered. Yeah, classic vegetarian. As soon as they get a personal accountability, they walk away because she thinks she's doing a good thing by being vegetarian. and she doesn't realise that she's actually just as bad as all the other meat eaters out there that are paying for animals to be abused so they can eat their bodies. Sorry. Yeah, so they hit that trigger, they hit that wall, they end up running away because they realise that what they're doing isn't good enough. Vegetarian, reducing, it's not good enough. Vegan, it's a baseline, it's not difficult. Stop abusing animals, it's easy.